Begin with the administration of the oath of office and remarks from the council members-elect.
If you want to come up in front of the dais. Please raise your right hand. I'm going to say the oath, and then I will have you all answer together. I do at the end. Do you, David Ellis, Ron Beatty, David Butterbaugh, and Bruce Kelly, solemnly swear that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that you will discharge the duties of City Council members in the City of Altoona, County of Blair, with fidelity? Please answer, I do. Thank you, and I'll have you sign.
All right, whoever would like to go first, go ahead. Dave.
I'd just like to thank the people of Altoona for electing me to another term. I think council's worked well together. I think we've made a lot of progress. And I think there's a lot of really exciting projects in the future, near future. So we're working on housing. Of course, we had Prospect Pool. That's really an exciting thing for the city. And I just want to thank everybody for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. I want to thank the people of Altoona for the support they've shown in myself and in council in this last election. We've gone through a lot of change in the last 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years, and sometimes change is difficult for people to accept. And I think the results of this election showed that we are heading in the right direction. This council has been great working together. It's a situation where we don't always agree with everything that we do, but we agree on the direction that the city needs to go. And I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. Thank you.
I also would like to thank the folks of this city, and it's a great honor to have an opportunity to serve another term on City Council, and I'm really proud of what this team has been able to accomplish in the last term, and I'm really excited about the opportunities and things that are going to happen over the next term here, and I'm just really looking forward of getting down to the nitty-gritty and getting to work for you all. Thank you.
I would echo many of the comments made by my colleagues. I certainly am appreciative to the people of Altoona and the voters for the opportunity to be reelected and serve. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of good things, and I just always remember that I always try to keep in mind who pays the bills. And it's the taxpayers of Altoona that pay the bills. And there's a lot of things we'd like to do, would want to do, but we have to temper that knowing who pays the bills and people's ability to pay and make decisions based on what's going to bring the most return for that taxpayer investment. So I look forward to the challenges of the next several years. And Mayor, I think we're ready to roll on into the meeting.
And with that, I will call the meeting to order, and we will have a moment of silent prayer. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Linda, would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Beatty,
Here.
Councilman Butterbaugh,
Here.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent, Councilman Ellis,
Here.
Councilman Ickes,
Here.
Councilman Kelly,
Here.
Mayor Pacifico.
Here. We had an executive session last month after the meeting to go over real estate, and I think that was it. Was that it, Mike? Real estate?
Yes, we might have touched on
Maybe potential litigation as well. With that, we'll open the floor for public comment. If anybody would like to address council, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to under 3 minutes. The floor is now open.
Hi, my name's Autumn Temple. I live in the city of Altoona. I'm here to talk about two of the ordinance things that you guys are going to be reviewing on the agenda, number 3 and 5. The first one with the change in definition with family and rental. I think like that needs to happen. Families should be able to support one another without bureaucracy or government. So I am in support of that proposal change. And then the second one is the ordinance, it's number 5, in regards to recovery houses, boarding houses, halfway houses, and other institutional or licensing houses. I'm concerned in the way that is written, where there's 1,500 feet separation requirement between any of those that are going to be started. I'm guessing you're going to grandfather some of the current ones in, but that 1,500 feet separation, when you're looking at some of your other ordinances and populations of people such as student housing, that specific feet separation is really discriminatory in nature. Some of you guys had said in the Altoona Mirror that this is for safety. By the way that the ordinance is written, you're looking at a specific population of people, and the population of people that you're looking at that utilize the recovery houses, that utilize boarding homes or even group homes, they're going to be protected under the Protected Peoples Act. So I really suggest that you look at Fair Housing Act and the American with Disabilities Act before passing that ordinance tonight. I did have a conversation with Brittany Mellinger with the Pennsylvania Fair Housing Association. She is going to be watching this. I provided her a copy of the proposed ordinance, and she also felt like some of the wording was discriminatory in nature. So, like I said, I do agree that safety thing is an issue in our community, but you cannot be looking at specific populations of people and setting requirements that are going to limit their housing availability. And for your convenience, I've given you some of the, I'm going to pass around these. There are some case laws of some other city or ordinances who have attempted the same thing with putting space limitations in housing that was found discriminatory in nature. So I'll just pass this around for you guys to look at. Thank you.
I'm Lisa Han. I'm the Executive Director of Family Services Incorporated, located at 2022 Broad Avenue here in Altoona. We operate the Teen Center and Shelter at 1701 6th Avenue. It is licensed by Department of Human Services and Office of Children, Youth, and Families. We operate the Family Shelter that falls under the HUD guidelines for continuum of care, but we also operate 5 residential licensed group homes for adults with intellectual disabilities here in Altoona. that are licensed by the Office of Developmental Programs, licensed and seriously regulated. One of their regulations is that we can't create a group home within 1,500 feet of another group home. So if your ordinance comes in with another 150 feet restriction from these other licensed facilities, it again reduces the area that we can look for homes for these adults in the city of Altoona. Our homes only have 3 people in them, and it's their home, and we care for them until they pass or their issues become too great physically for us to maintain. So we'd like you to take a look at that restriction.
Yes, hi. Hello. My name is Nate Germany. I'm a owner of a licensed recovery house here in Altoona. I'm pastor of 18th Street Community Church, and I'm also here for the ordinances that's being passed, or is being posed to be passed. Yes, I too am concerned about the 1,500 feet where where you can actually have another recovery house or halfway house or boarding home next to each other. That is a big concern because where the affordable housing is, usually they're in an area where affordable housing is located. Also, I do believe that it violates the Fair Housing Act, that the state approved. Also, I have a few problems with the ordinance limits occupancy of halfway houses, recovery house to only 4 persons, which is more restrictive than the building code and the PA code. I mean, a house can have more than 4 people in it in any building code, but your ordinance is saying we can only have 4 people in the house. Something's wrong with that. I don't really understand that. Also, you can find out in your section B if you guys. Also, the form of the application, structures of the facility. What does that really mean? Do you mean the construction type according with the building code? What does that really mean? I'm confused on that particular language. Structure of the facility. Is it a building code, the structure of facility, the building code PA, or is it a structure of facility? I don't understand that. Also, as far as the building permits and all of that, and the basically, is this to come through you guys? Is it a rental license in addition to the rental license? Is it also for the housing? I'm confused on the rental license. So yeah, a couple things on that, and also I wanted one other comment. I kind of mentioned it is about the affordable housing. That you would restrict anybody from buying a house where it's affordable. I mean, you guys, I came here several times with the block grant and looking for affordable housing in lieu of individuals that suffer from disability. And this kind of violates this Fair Housing and Affordable Housing Act, which you guys give out grants for. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you.
Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the floor and move into business.
Item A is appointing Councilman Dave Ellis to serve as vice mayor with said term expiring the first Monday of January 2028. Item B is approving the city council meeting scheduled attached here too for the year 2026 in accordance with the Home Rule Charter and Administrative Code of the city. Item C is approving the minutes of the Altoona City Council meeting held Monday, December 1st, 2025. Item D is amending and restating the fee resolution to include business mercantile-related licenses, land development fees, miscellaneous planning fees, sidewalk fund fees, plan development fees, subdivision, and zoning fees. Item E is reappointing Barbara Cooman to the Altoona Water Authority for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item F is reappointing Chris Kerwin to the Altoona Housing Authority for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item G is appointing Steve Kaysen to the Altoona Parking Authority to fill the unexpired term of Sherry McGregor. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2027. Item H is reappointing UPMC Representative Monica Klatt to the AMED Authority for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item I is appointing Mayor Matt Pacifico to the AMTRAN Authority for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item J is appointing Joe Rispoli to the Blighted Property Review Committee for a term of 2 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2028. Item K is appointing Dave Cervello to the Blighted Property Review Committee for a term of 2 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2028. Item L is appointing Janice Ellis to the Civil Service Board for a term of 4 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2030. Item M is appointing Tom Beam, alternate to the Civil Service Board, to fill the unexpired term of Ted Beam. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2029. Item N is appointing Mike Blackie, alternate to the Civil Service Board, for a term of 4 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2030. Item O is reappointing Richard Fiore Jr. to the Redevelopment Authority of Altoona for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item P is reappointing Horace McAnuff to the Zoning Hearing Board for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item Q is appointing Andrew Arnold to the Zoning Hearing Board for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. Item R is approving an agreement with PennDOT for the Meadow Street over Brush Run Bridge Rehabilitation Project with full funding provided by PennDOT, and authorizing the city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item S is approving an agreement with PennDOT for the 13th Street Bridge over Brush Run Rehabilitation Project with full funding provided by PennDOT, and authorizing the city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item T is approving a repository bid in the amount of $100 submitted by Thomas Nagel of Duncansville for property located at 209 to 209.5 10th Street, and further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item U is approving a repository bid in the amount of $100 submitted by Derek Ogden of Clearfield for property located at 1521 20th Avenue, and further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item B is approving a repository bid submitted by C5 Representation of Gaithersburg, Maryland, as follows: $888 for property located at 1825 13th Avenue, $888 for property located at 1823 13th Avenue, $3,000 for property located at 1510 13th Alley, $520 for property located at 810 6th Avenue, $520 for property located at 1108 17th Avenue, $520 for property located at 1110 17th Avenue, and $500 for property located at 1118 17th Avenue, further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Does anything need to be pulled for separate vote?
B, as in boy.
B?
Item, well, I'll wait till you're done writing. Also, item V.
Item I,
Whoops, sorry.
and I do have a question then on one of the items. Chris, for the fee schedule, what is that section, or letter D? Are there permits or fees required for residential windows and roofs?
No, in an effort to relieve the burden over homeowners, we've removed windows, roofing, and siding from the fee schedule.
Yeah, because they don't have to be inspected, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Linda, I need to abstain from L whenever we get to that.
I have an abstention form. I'll have you sign it after the meeting. So I'll probably have to pull that for a separate vote as well if he's abstaining. So that's going to be item L. Okay, we're going to start with item B. Item B is, we will first call for the consent vote, excluding items B, I, L, and V. Okay, this is the consent. Councilman Beatty,
Yes.
Councilman Butterbaugh,
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent, Councilman Ellis,
Yes.
Councilman Ickes,
Yes.
Councilman Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Pacifico.
Yes.
And the consent vote passes 6-0. And then I will go to item B. Item B is approving the city council meeting scheduled attached here too for the year 2026 in accordance with the Home Rule Charter and Administrative Code of the City of Altoona. I'll call for the vote. Councilman Beatty.
Time out. Could we discuss this? Because I'd like to know why this is, if this is being pulled, if there's an issue, I'd like to fix it.
No, I think it's, they're having the meeting earlier. We're changing up by an hour, is that what the, going from 5?
From 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
And the reason I asked for it to be pulled is I have a problem with the time. And the problem I have, well, first of all, you saw I barely made it in here tonight from work. And I know I'm probably gonna be retired sometime later this year, so forget the personal issue. When I started on city council, we had 2 meetings, council meetings a month, and we had work sessions on Mondays before the Wednesday council meetings. They were at 7 o'clock. We did away with the work sessions. We eventually ended up going, we moved it to Monday, we moved it to 6 o'clock. We now really only have 1 meeting a month, and now we're gonna move it to 5. And frankly, I worry about one, I think it was gonna preclude some people who may wanna run for council at some point and say, well, I can't make a 5 o'clock meeting. The other thing I'm concerned about is the opportunity for the public to provide input to a meeting. And I think at 5 o'clock, it's for some folks, that's pretty hard to get here if they're gonna wanna give public comment on something. So I would really rather see the time stay at 6 o'clock, frankly. And that's why I asked for it to be pulled, because if it's gonna be at 5 o'clock, I'm gonna vote no on it. Now, my question is, if there's not enough votes to pass that, because we're required to set the schedule, can we amend that tonight, even though we haven't published it? That's a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I would be okay staying at 6 o'clock.
I'm good with 6.
Yeah, if that works for me.
Guess it doesn't matter.
Okay, so I'm calling for an amendment to the.
Well, then I
So I need a motion
would
to
move
amend.
that we amend the time back to 6 o'clock for the meetings.
Second.
So we have a motion to approve the city council meeting schedule attached here too for the year 2026 with a time change of from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock in accordance with the Home Rule Charter Administrative Code of the City of Altoona. And we have a motion by Councilman Kelly and a second by Councilman Ickes. And I'll call for the vote. Councilman Beatty,
Yes.
Councilman Butterbaugh,
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent, Councilman Ellis,
Yes.
Councilman Ickes,
Yes.
Councilman Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Pacifico.
No.
And the vote passes 5-1. Then we have, the next is going to be item I. Get that on the screen for you. This is appointing Mayor Pacifico to the AMTRAN Authority for a term of 5 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2031. I'll call for the vote. Councilman Beatty.
I just need a clarification. We're voting, who pulled aye?
I did. I need to abstain, which is why I pulled it for a separate vote.
Oh. I didn't know that.
So, is there one that has to be filled out?
Yeah, I'll have to take care of some administrative stuff, but I need to abstain for
Yeah, we have
for
an
the record.
abstention statement that we have to complete that has to actually say why you're abstaining. Okay,
Okay, yes.
okay. Councilman Butterbaugh.
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent. Councilman Ellis.
Yes.
Councilman Ickes is abstaining.
Correct.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Pacifico. Yes. And that vote passes 5-0. All right, now we're going to move on to item L. And this is going to be the appointing, and this is also an abstention, appointing Janice Ellis to the Civil Service Board for a term of 4 years. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2030. Councilman Beatty.
Yes.
Councilman Butterbaugh.
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent. Councilman Ellis is abstaining. Councilman Ickes.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Pacifico.
Yes.
And the vote passes 5-0. And then we have item V. Item V is approving the repository bid submitted by C5 Representation for the properties. Do you want me to read the properties again? No. With all the addresses and figures that I had mentioned in the previous reading, for further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Councilman Beatty.
No.
Councilman Butterbaugh.
No.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent. Councilman Ellis.
No.
Councilman Ickes.
No.
Councilman Kelly.
No.
Mayor Pacifico.
No.
And the vote does not pass by 0-6.
In the
And-
future, if we have abstentions, I think we can just roll those in as one vote and just note the abstention at the end. I don't think that it has to be pulled for a separate vote. Save time. Keep things moving.
All right, so now we have ordinances. The first ordinance for introduction is an ordinance in the City of Altoona which eliminates Chapter 700.20-22.1 of the Altoona City Code, off-street parking. Is there a council member willing to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
This ordinance was introduced by Councilman Butterbaugh. We have a second ordinance for introduction. It's an ordinance of the City of Altoona, Blair County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 700, Vehicles and Traffic, to create a new Article 12, Administration and Enforcement of On-Street Parking Regulations, as well as the enforcement of off-street parking lots owned by the city, to provide enforcement power to the Altoona Parking Authority, to provide severability of provisions, and providing an effective date. Do we have a council member willing to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
This ordinance was introduced by Councilman Beatty. We have a third ordinance for introduction, which is an ordinance of the City of Altoona amending the Code of the City of Altoona, Chapter 570, Residential Rental Inspection, adding Section 570-1A, Family Exemption, and adding 570-10B, General Definitions of Family, provide severability of provisions, repeal or and provide an effective date. Is there a council member willing to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
This ordinance was introduced by Councilman Butterbaugh. The next ordinance, number 4, is an ordinance of the City of Altoona amending the Code of the City of Altoona, Chapter 295, entitled Disposition of Surplus Real and Personal Property, amending definitions, eliminating unopened paper street, amending disposal of other property, amending unopened rights-of-way and orphan parcels, provide severability of provisions, repeal or and provide an effective date. Is there a council member willing to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
This ordinance was introduced by Councilman Ickes. We have a fifth ordinance for introduction, which is, I'm sorry, it's for adoption. It was introduced by Vice Mayor Ellis. It's an ordinance of the City of Altoona, Blair County, Pennsylvania, amending the code of the City of Altoona, adding a new Chapter 571 to be entitled Halfway Recovery, Rooming and Boarding and Institutionalized Facility Licensing Program, providing application, inspection, and licensing requirements and definitions for halfway recovery houses, rooming and boarding houses, and institutionalized housing, hereinafter called Halfway Recovery, Rooming and Boarding and Institutionalized Facility Licensing Program, repealing of all other ordinances or parts of laws in conflict therewith, severability of provisions, and providing an effective date. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
This ordinance was moved for adoption by Councilman Ickes and seconded by Councilman Ellis, and I'll call the roll for a vote.
Could we have some
Discussion.
discussion about this? Mr. Solicitor, we had a presentation here this evening with some quoted case law. Just want to confirm whether we've done the research to make sure that we're fall within the federal law and case law such.
If you want to put this, if you want to defer for 30 days, I can take a look at it. I wasn't involved in drafting the ordinance, so.
So we can motion to table it.
Sure. I mean, if that's what you want to do.
I don't know necessarily, I mean,
This was crafted by a solicitor, correct? Who's that?
Dan
Stan
Stans.
Stanstead. Okay.
Well, if that's the case, then I would trust Dan.
yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
all I
so
had.
we have a motion by Councilman Ickes, a second by Councilman Ellis, and I'll call the roll for a vote. Councilman Beatty?
Yes.
Councilman Butterbaugh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich is absent. Councilman Ellis?
Yes.
Councilman Ickes?
Yes.
Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Pacifico?
No.
And the vote passes 5-1.
City manager updates?
Nothing for the group.
Anybody from council have anything?
Not tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, questions from the media?
Would have been good to have Stans here.
Thank you. Mike, could you explain, and maybe you won't be able to because of not drafting it, but can you explain, and I think I asked you before in December possibly, but could you explain what the difference will be between the newly adopted, the situation for those special houses, recovery houses and halfway houses, that sort of thing, before, now and after this goes in, or yesterday and tomorrow after this new ordinance goes into effect? What's the practical difference?
Bill, I'm going to have to defer because I couldn't answer that question. I would defer to either Dan or an appropriate city person who can look into it and get back to you tomorrow.
Okay. Given the presentation that was made, presentations that were made by Autumn Temple and Lisa Han and Nate Germany, I know you guys just voted on it to approve it, but any comments?
First of all, Bill, we have to have some trust in our solicitor that when we ask them to look into ordinances and laws for us to operate under, that whatever they present to us falls within the guidelines. I'm sorry. We have to have some trust in the fact when we ask one of our solicitors to look into an ordinance or a law that needs to be created, we have to have some trust that they are following federal, state, and local laws and creating that. So the presentation was made. That's why I asked the question that was asked, so.
Right. Okay. Well, can somebody explain to me what the impetus for doing this in the first place was?
Part of it for me is trying to prevent homelessness. Because the issue is we have a lot of excellent, good-hearted people in this town legitimately trying to help people. And we don't want to hurt that effort or block that effort. We also have people that are just in it for the money. And when the funding goes away, so does the care. And they kick them right out onto the street. And then they become the next homeless person in Altoona.
Can you get a little more specific about the kind of things that you're talking about?
Well, because when the subsidy goes away, the care goes away. There are people that are only in it for the money and trying to crowd as much in as they can. And so the way it works is, I almost sort of liken it to comparing it to the Somali daycares in Minnesota in some cases in Pennsylvania. Like, it just is what it is. We're trying to get a handle on homelessness in this town. And when you have people come in for help, get help until the subsidy goes away, out on the street they get thrown, and the help goes away. And then that creates a huge burden for our police and for public works and everybody involved, and the general taxpayer of the city of Altoona. It's a very big problem that we need to properly address.
Which type of facilities does that happen with here, or has it happened with here? Like the recovery houses?
Various.
You mean all the types?
No, various. There are a lot of people that do things the right way, that help people, that legitimately care, and that are there to help people. There are others, it's just a money-making business, and they couldn't care less.
Bill, here's a good example. A few months back, well, it was late summer, early fall, Councilman Ellis and I were walking downtown because he got a call about some people that were sleeping along the railroad tracks. So we walked through downtown on our way down to see if we could find these individuals. And we were walking down Green Avenue and we encountered somebody. So we stopped and asked him if he needed some help. And we were trying to make some calls to get him shelter. And we were asking him his story. And he was telling us that he came here through one of the halfway houses and then graduated to a three-quarter house from there, and then lost his job and was thrown out of the house that he was living in and was forced to
Because he
become homeless.
couldn't pay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the examples that Councilman Butterball is trying to make there. But yeah, I mean, that was a real life example that Dave and I, Ellis and I, got to see for ourselves.
And
So
do
yeah,
you-
it does happen out there. You know, there are people that, as long as they're paying, they're okay. But as soon as they can't pay anymore, they're out on the street. You go.
Well, when you're talking about subsidies, Dave, are you talking about subsidies
So-
that are connected?
wherever the
wait, let
subsidies
me ask
come
the question.
from.
Are you talking about subsidies connected with an individual, like maybe with what they're talking about, or subsidies connected with the
Wherever the
house?
money comes from. Once the money goes away, the care goes away in some cases.
Okay.
And I don't want another tent city in Altoona, because that's not helping. Handing somebody a tent and a sleeping bag and a roll of toilet paper and telling them to live on the street in the city of Altoona is not the solution to the problem.
Bill, the other thing that we have to concern ourselves with is the safety of the occupants of these structures. You know, we have a very comprehensive rental inspection program that my understanding is did not cover some of these boarding houses, which now will by us putting this ordinance into effect. And you've sat at enough of these meetings to know that that rental inspection program has uncovered some really egregious living conditions, and that's another check and balance that we're trying to put in place.
Okay.
People that need help deserve a safe place too.
Isn't that discriminating against a population of individuals, though? Isn't that just singling an individuals out?
Sir, this is a question from the media time.
Well, I guess I'll throw that question to you. What do you believe the solution is? If I'm not sure if that's going to elicit any more of a response.
To get it right. Because as it stands right now, also the people being discriminated against are the tax-paying residents of Altoona. What about them? We represent them too.
Well, one thing I did get from, I mean, I haven't had a chance to look at the, well, I shouldn't say I haven't had a chance. Haven't yet looked at the ordinance itself, which is in my packet, but from what the commenters were saying at the podium earlier, there are going to be more strict limitations about where these will be located. Is that, when you, Dave, were saying about being able to get people proper housing to help eliminate homelessness, aren't those restrictions going to work against that effort?
And remember, the key here, the way I see it,
Okay.
we want to help Altoonans.
Well,
We want to help Altoonans. And the way the system works is in some cases, some people go looking all over other areas to bring people in because they can get subsidized by bringing people in. And as many as they can in some cases. And it creates an unsafe environment for the people that we are trying to help.
but did you understand my question? My question is, it seems like the restrictions on the requirements to have these places spaced out, tightened that having tightened that requirement is going to
Yeah, a lot
limit
of
the
people,
number of these kind of
yeah.
limit the number of these kind of supposedly now more safe facilities that will be available to help people who are homeless. And you're saying that
It's gonna make it more safe for the people that need help.
okay.
So Bill, to add to what the council members are saying, what we're trying to address is the safety of the facilities. The state has inspection requirements. We diligently went through with our solicitor. We looked at all the safety requirements. We're not prohibiting anybody from opening a halfway house. We're not prohibiting anybody from any of the listed facilities. What we're saying with the new ordinance is you will comply with all the zoning requirements. You'll comply with all the new code requirements. You'll comply with the inspection requirements. That includes from code, from building officials, and from the fire department. So this isn't a blanket, no, you can't have a facility. It's just we're getting our arms around a problem. We found some substandard facilities, and we're trying to address that.
And it's the
And
correct way
it's the correct way to do business, and it's the greater good. We're looking out for everyone here. So I understand that this is an emotional argument, and there's people on both sides of the equation. I've taken at least 100 phone calls in the past week from people saying that the city shouldn't allow a single facility like this in our community, that we're destroying our community. And I've sat down and talked to the people on the other side of the equation, and I understand where they're coming from. But the housing stock that some of these facilities are being proposed in are not ADA compliant. They don't meet fire inspection requirements. They don't meet code requirements. So what we're saying is if you're going to operate a facility and you're going to be having people living in a facility, it's going to be a safe facility.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we've had too many firefighters injured in situations like this, and too many first responders being injured going into places like this to save lives and putting their own lives at risk. And like he said, it's both sides, and it's local government. And so, you know, it's very hard to make both sides happy, and typically the right thing leaves both sides a little bit miffed, but we are really trying to do the right thing for everybody involved.
Okay. Matt, why did you vote? Wait, I guess, is that the same? You voted no on postponing it, right? I was wondering why you did that. On postponing the decision for Mike to look it over. You did?
No, I voted against adopting it tonight because I felt we should have tabled it for 30 days to really make sure that it was airtight.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was talking about. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, regarding the ordinance, introduced ordinance number 1, the parking ordinance, could somebody explain the significance of that?
So we have a parking authority, and the language in the previous ordinances with the parking authority was outdated, and when we brought on the new management company, there was multiple conflicts in ordinances and resolutions that have been adopted over the past several years. So this was working with the parking authority solicitor and working with our solicitor. The only way to solve that issue was to sever this ordinance, or by passing this ordinance, we removed the previous ordinance. And then we voted to adopt the new ordinance, which gives the parking authority the ability to manage the city parking lots. And in our research, it also gives them now the ability to do parking enforcement across the city. They're not currently set up to do that, but that's something that we will work towards. The police department has far too many other challenges to deal with than to be dealing with parking citations. So this rolled it under an authority and an agency that has the ability to enforce the parking requirements.
Mm-hmm. So the individuals who come here or park here are not necessarily going to see a substantive change with all this, I guess, right?
No, I wouldn't imagine that anybody'd really see a substantial change. It just sets the requirements for the city parking lots and the parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
For
Well, if I remember right from being at the authority, now the authority can, immediately start enforcing downtown parking ordinances on the street, right?
that's correct.
Okay.
Citywide, they can enforce the ordinance. They can
Right,
enforce.
right, but that'll be.
That'll be
get
something that
equipped for it,
happens
right?
in the future. They're not equipped to do that at this point. The target area will be the downtown parking lots in the area downtown and the parking garage.
How long do you think it'll take before they're equipped to do the entire city the entire city's parking enforcement?
Probably a couple of years, Bill. We just wanted to get the framework in place now so that whenever that time is right, that it's already set up to go.
Okay, thanks.
We're focused on downtown for right now. That's the main area for parking needs
Okay.
and enforcement.
And then, I guess finally, could somebody explain ordinance number 3? It's introduced ordinance number 3, the family exemption one.
Yes, so currently in the ordinance that we repealed and replaced with this, it broadens the definition of what a family member is. It was very restrictive, and we found instances where somebody was a property owner and had a family member staying in there that they were taking care of, and they put them in the house that they owned, and it technically violated the ordinance. This is a situation where we had a number of people come in, talk to us about it. We sat down and we looked at it, and we realized that it was far too restrictive for what we're trying to do in the housing arena. So we broadened the definition to what the family members are, so that they can register the property in the rental program.
Bill, this was one that was very near and dear to my heart because for multiple years I fell into this. Like I was living in a rental, even though it wasn't a rental. My dad owned it. I didn't pay him to live there, but I still had to register my house as a rental, get it inspected every 3 years. So this was kind of to help people out that fell into the situation that I was in a few years ago.
So in your dad's house, you had to register as a rental, living
Yeah,
in
because
your
it was a
father's house?
rental. He owned it. I didn't own it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, from our definition, it was defined as a rental, you know?
Okay.
And there are cases where people will own like a little side property where they'll have family live there, you know, to help out like older family and stuff like that too.
Bill, but this is an example of how if we don't have it right, we take a look at it and we'll make a change to make it right. And I think council's open to doing those kind of things. And this is a proof in the pudding kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
Mayor, what are you doing?